Okay, welcome to BCIS 5379 Tech of E-Business. My name is Dr. Schuessler, and I'll be your professor this semester. I usually like to start off the semester with a couple of introductory videos, one going over the Blackboard shell, kind of showing you how things are laid out and where things are located. Hopefully that makes your life a little bit easier and able to find things a little bit more efficiently and effectively. The other video is going to be over the syllabus and over the course schedule. Kind of things that we might cover the very first day of class. So let's go ahead and jump on in here. When you log into Blackboard, your screen should look something like this. Depending on the courses that you're registered for, this might look slightly different. But this is the course that we're talking about right here, 5379 Tech of E-Business. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And this takes us into our Blackboard shell. And it's going to look something like this when it's completed. This red part up here will be gone, and you'll see this the two videos that I just mentioned located right there. So right now I'm going to go ahead and click on over into student preview mode, and this is pretty much what you should see right now. So again, once this is done, this will be gone and the two videos will be right here. Below those two videos is my Twitter feed. So if you want to follow me on Twitter, you certainly can. If you don't have a Twitter account, you can log in here to Blackboard and kind of keep an eye on what it is that I'm looking at. So for example, I try to post things that I think are interesting to students, things that are related to higher education, things like that. It's just a good way to kind of keep an eye on what's going on. Down here at the bottom, we have Help Desk Netiquette and Computer Use Policy. If you have some sort of a problem with Blackboard, contact the Blackboard Help Desk. They have pretty good hours. They can handle a lot of things over the phone, or they can handle them remotely. They can log into your system. You can see everything that they do. So it's a good resource. They're a good resource, and they can take care of most issues for you. There's also Netiquette. If you're new to online courses, it's been a while since you've been in school and you're coming back to school, take a look at that. Basically things like, don't type in all caps. It's the equivalent to screaming, things like that. So it's just a way to behave professionally in an online environment. Lastly, we have the computer use policy. Even though you're logging in via your phones or your tablets or laptops or whatever you happen to be using, keep in mind you're logging into a university system, so don't do anything that you wouldn't do in broad daylight in public and things like that. So this again is the home page. If you want to get back here, simply click on home and it will bring you right back here. These next two are things that we will talk about in a later video, but they're essentially just links to Blackboard, or excuse me, to Google Docs that you can open up and view that way. But we'll talk about those in that other video. Now, students are usually most interested in this very next section, the deliverables. So we have assessments, homework, semester project, discussion boards, and exams. So let's just take those in order. For assessments, all the assessments are already posted. If you log in, you can take a look, and every single one of them is already posted, with the exception of the post-test, which opens up at the end of the semester. For the pre-test and the post-test, there's nothing really to worry about. All it is basically trying to establish your incoming knowledge of e-business. So do the best that you can. All you have to do is complete it, and you'll get your 5 points that it's worth. So regardless of how well you do or how poorly you do, you're going to get those 5 points if you complete it. So don't stress about it. Something else to keep in mind on the pretest and the post-test, they're identical with the exception of the very last question. The very last question is a link to an external survey. For the pretest, it's a survey that tells me about your personality and tells me about your learning style. For the post-test, it tells me about, basically my own personal course assessment to help me improve what it is that I do in this course. Something else I want to point out, every assessment is password protected with the password TEST, T-E-S-T, all lowercase. So what you would do is you'd click on the assessment, you'll get some basic information about how long you have to do it, when it's due, things like that. Some of the settings on it, basically, this test can be saved and returned to at any point in time until the time has expired, but the timer will continue until you leave the test. So if you start the test and you log out in 5 minutes and then you come back in 5 minutes, you're only going to have 5 minutes left to complete the test. So keep that in mind. And it's also set to automatically submit at the end of the time. So Once that 15 minutes is up, it's going to submit it regardless of where you are. So make sure you finish up before it's done. When you click begin, it will then prompt you for that password, TEST, and you go from there. All the assessments are already posted, so feel free to work ahead. In fact, I encourage you to work ahead just a little bit. That way, in case you have a job interview or a frat party or whatever, it's none of my business. I don't need to know. But they're all already posted. So work ahead a little bit, but not too far. I want you to stay engaged in the class and stay relevant to what's going on in the class, but work ahead just a little bit to avoid any bad situations. I don't reset the quizzes or anything like that due to whatever reason, whether it's technical or otherwise. As a result, part of the reason the way I handle that is I drop your 2 lowest quiz scores. So keep that in mind as well. Students typically hate these quizzes, but they tend to do pretty well by the end of the semester when we start dropping the lowest quiz scores. The other oddball thing that you need to know out of this section is this next quiz, the syllabus quiz. And make sure you've read the syllabus, make sure you print it out or have it open in a second monitor for reference. I'm not trying to trick you with anything in the syllabus quiz. It's really just a way for me to verify and confirm that you did actually read the syllabus and understood it. So that's it as far as the quizzes. Homework is right here. And homework 0 is a little bit different. It's kind of like the syllabus quiz. It's the oddball in this area. Basically, I make pretty extensive use of Google Drive and Google Docs. So this is really kind of the process of setting up your Google account. If you've already got one, great. If not, I need you to create one, but you're going to create a folder. You're going to share that folder with me, all those kinds of things. And then there's an information sheet to fill out as well. One of the requirements that will get used regularly throughout is also this that you're going to be submitting links to your documents. I want those links to be clickable, and I want them to open up into their own window. And there's points associated with that on the rubrics. So I tell you how to do that here, and I show you how to do it in the video right there. So, I'm really trying to help show you exactly what it is that I want. In this course, we've basically got a semester project, and the way we're going to handle that is several different things that are going on. One is separate group projects, and then we have an individual semester project. The group projects are these basically little mini projects. So there's going to be 3 groups in the class. It'll be about 5 students per group, give or take. And I'll post those names right in here once I get those set up. I set those based on some of your scores that you have in some of the assessments that we do at the very beginning. And I've had good success with that as well. And these are actually presented to me online in a Zoom session. So what we'll do is we'll get those groups established, then each group will pick a time. These are going to be due on the Sundays in which the assignments are due. There's 3 different time slots, 7, 8, or 9. Each group will pick one of those time slots, first come, first serve. The very first topic is, so this is kind of the project's overview. And you can't see the projects just yet because we don't have the group assignments yet. But basically what you're going to be doing is you're going to be assessing a scripting language, for example. So there'll be 3 different scripting languages that'll be evaluated. You're going to be evaluating web servers, 3 different web servers. One group will, each group will do a different web server. You're going to be evaluating those. And then you're going to come here and you're going to present in a Zoom session what those, what are the unique features of those particular, of that particular topic. And I'm going to record those. I share those back with the rest of the groups, or with each group down here in the discussion board. So say, for example, this very first one is going to be posted right here. So this first one, we're going to have a link. I'll come in here and I'll post a link to the video for each group. And that will allow you then to go in and view the other group's presentations. And you'll be able to make comments and discuss with them and all those kinds of things right there. So that's kind of how the discussion board is laid out as well. So we'll have 3 of those that are due throughout the semester. The semester project is an individual project, and the idea behind this is I'm really hoping to help set you up for BCIS 5365 web development. So this course is really more managerially oriented. So the idea is to develop the idea of a of an e-business or e-commerce project, really kind of think it through, come up with a value proposition, all those kinds of things. And then that's the course in which you would then start to implement that kind of solution. So it's meant to go hand in hand with that course. Dr. Schultz teaches that course. Let's see, semester projects right here. I tell you how I wanted the document named. So SP dash and then your last name. The contents of it, you need a cover page, executive summary, introduction, thorough body, strong conclusion, references, and it needs to be formatted via APA. I want you to think about this project in terms of an actual project. And so there's Microsoft Project that you can use. You can use Ganter, either one. Ganter's a free online one that integrates with Google Drive, but it really doesn't matter. Either way, I want you to think about this as a project and start to lay it out that way. And then I go through the details of exactly what the contents really should contain: the introduction, the body, the conclusions, etc., appendices, the executive summary. Don't start with the executive summary. It's presented very early on or at the beginning of your proposal, but it should be the last thing that is written. So be sure and read through that. And the only thing that you're going to actually submit is a link to that document. So how do you do that? You're going to click on the assignment. The assignment tells you when it's due, 9:30 Sunday, April 23rd. You want to see how you're going to be assessed, click on the rubric there, and it tells you how you're going to be assessed right there. So that's how I'm going to award points. So that is the semester project. Exams are going to be posted right in here. They're not available yet. They open up during the exam window. There's 2 exams. There's a midterm, and then there's the final exam. You can refer to the schedule to see exactly when those are done. The other thing I want to bring raise to your attention is over here for the discussion boards. So you're going to have basically 3 posts that you have to make. Again, I'm going to post the link to the video for the other groups, for all the groups are going to be presented in here for this particular topic. And then you need to make 3 meaningful posts that week. The first post needs to be by on or before Wednesday. Then this is meant to be an engaging process. So it's not a case of where you can wait to the last minute and then go in and make 3 posts and you're done. Rather, it's meant to be something that kind of grows. So you need to make a post, 1 or more posts, meaningful posts, on or before Wednesday, the week in which the discussion board is due. You need to then come back and visit the discussion board later in the week, Thursday or after, but before it's due, you need to make a second post. Again, another meaningful post. What did you like about somebody's presentation? What did you learn? Did they not consider something? Ask them a question about the scripting language, about the web server, about the database, whatever it happens to be. And then finally, at the end of the week on Saturday or Sunday, you need to make a reflective post. Tell me what you learned. I really need to know what about this process was helpful. And reflect on it a little bit. Give me some feedback about what you actually learned out of this process. Again, it needs to be substantive. You can't just say I didn't learn anything or I learned a lot. Those don't help me at all. Those don't tell me. If you didn't learn something, that's fine, but tell me what it is that you thought could have been done better that would have helped you to have learned more. So again, there needs to be some substance in each one of those. That's it as far as deliverables. The next section over here in the navigation structure is communications, and there's several different ways to do that. The first one is announcements. I send out announcements once a week, every Monday usually. I do this after I post grades, so usually I'm able to get grades posted pretty quickly. I strive to do that on the Monday after things are due, so that things are fresh in your mind, and so that's kind of my goal. Sometimes there's assignments that take a little bit longer to grade, and so it pushes that off. But I try to send out those announcements and talk about what's going on in class, what's due for this upcoming week, all of those kinds of things. Usually I get good feedback about that. Students like that, and that way it helps to keep them on track. If you have a question regarding your grades or something personal, This is where I want you to send me messages to. Do not use my regular email address for course-related questions. Come in here to course messages, create a message, find my name in here, and then the rest of it should be pretty intuitive. The subject, whatever it is, and click submit, and that'll send it to me in Blackboard. I check Blackboard pretty regularly, so I should be able to access it pretty easily. If we need to meet virtually, you can click on that, and that'll open up a Zoom session. You really ought to probably schedule it with me, because that way we can be on at about the same time. I can get in and wait for you to get on, but it probably ought to be scheduled. Make things a little bit easier. Sometimes again, like I mentioned earlier, I'm in a conference or at a conference or in a meeting or something like that, and I can't meet. So let's schedule those kinds of things out. Another way to communicate is via your grades. So if you start seeing zeros popped into a series of assignments, that means something's not working properly. So you need to contact me within a week of that, because if you're going to contest something per the syllabus, you've got 1 week to do that. So here's kind of a breakdown of all your grades, what their point values are, when they're due, all of those kinds of things. For those that are assessed via a rubric, you can click on those there. That's another way to access those rubrics. And so you can see the rubric and its contents there. So again, that's another way to kind of determine where you stand in the class and communicate with you. Here at the end, we've got supplemental material. Some students like slides. They like to study using slides. So I've populated all those into a Google folder and just shared the whole folder with you, so you can access those there. I've converted those PowerPoints over to Google presentations, so it doesn't count against my storage, but all of those are available right in there. Let's close that. Social media is next. So my website is currently down. My server, I was moving things around, so it's currently turned off, so you can't access my website right now, but I'll get that taken care of before the semester starts. Google Plus Learning Community, I don't really use all that much. It is limited to students only, but occasionally things get posted there. I am fairly active on YouTube. These videos, for example, go up on YouTube, and so that's available there. My Twitter feed, I used to be quite active. Now, not so much, since I'm managing the department's social media, but I do still tend to post things or tweet things out. LinkedIn, by all means, have a LinkedIn account. Keep it very professional, update it, make sure it's basically an online resume. And as professionals, you should all have LinkedIn accounts, and certainly reach out to me there. And then I drive to and from work each day. I listen to Audible books, and those that I think are particularly good, I actually order the hard copies of, and I tend to put those on my recommended books list. So those are the books that I've read that I think are particularly good that relate to information systems. The next section is over funny videos, things that I think are IT related, but they're also funny. A few can be kind of raunchy, so if you're faint of heart, you might want to skip over some of those. But I think they're all relevant, and I think they're all funny. And then here towards the end, we have the learning style and course evaluations. We talked about these just briefly earlier in terms of the pre-test and post-test, where this data comes from. As you all take it for this semester, these numbers will be updated automatically to reflect your contributions. As you can kind of tell, historically in this class, we tend to have students that are observational, so they have a preference for external stimuli such as demonstrations and diagrams. They tend not to like group stuff, which is a shame because that's what employers really have been banging away on for quite some time. So we have group stuff in here for that very reason, to hopefully help you all get better at it. From a personality perspective, students tend to be pretty open in this class, and we're not so neurotic. Probably a good thing, don't you think? Course evaluations, similar to the personality and learning style. I've had students do this in the past. You'll do this at the end of the semester. If you want to take a look at from previous semesters, some of the feedback that students have left, you can kind of look through those numbers right there. Let's see. I really encourage you to not only fill the stuff out here at the end of the semester, but also do the university's assessment that's still necessary. I like this because this is directly for my classes and it helps me do a better job of improving myself. I also take information from Rate My Professor. So if you have something on Rate My Professor that you think you want to post something to Rate My Professor, by all means, give me some feedback there. I take feedback any way I can get it. And then finally, there's Blackboard help. I'm not a big fan of it. If you need it, by all means, take advantage of it. But if I have an issue, I would tend to reach out to the Blackboard help desk. It just tends to be faster, I think. And like I said, I think they're extremely good at what they do over there. So that's about it. If you want to get back to the home page, just click on home and it'll bring you right back here. And that is it. That's our course in a nutshell. So hopefully that will help you navigate around a little bit easier, a little bit quicker. If you have any questions, send me a message.